waiting for Instagram.
Oh, hey guys. We're already waiting in the lobby. Awesome.
For some reason, I'm not seeing it come up for Instagram.
Alright, live and
I'm gonna close that door.
yeah, you're good. Stream key worked, so
Yeah, it usually lets me go live right after you do, but it's not letting me this time.
weird.
The button's there, but it's not going active. It usually goes active like 10, 15 seconds after you do.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's just staying dead this time.
If you want to remove and yeah, no, I see YouTube.
I don't think it'll give me the same key again if I back out.
Yeah, you can send me a new one. You're looking.
Okay, I'll do that.
I can remove it and re-add later.
How's everybody doing? Looks like we got a few popping in here on Facebook.
Yeah,
hey, Jay, what's going on, man?
Jay and Lizzie. Hi, guys. Third Coast Constrictors, JM Exotics. Good to see you guys.
Vicky Foster.
And it's my dad's birthday today, so.
Happy birthday, Ben's dad.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Mr. Ben's dad. Here's mine.
And we are dealing with some technical difficulties with Instagram. So I'm sending you another one, Kayla.
Sounds good. Waiting for it to come through. Oh, Troy and Tommy Thursdays. Yeah. Yeah, no, they're just, they hang out with us.
Oh, yeah.
We like
All
it.
right.
It's always a
Should
fun
be coming
time. through.
Hi, Adrian. Good to see you again.
Yeah, we have our, we leave for Alaska on Saturday, so.
Oh, that's right. You guys are going to Alaska. Fun.
Yeah, I talked to Sean because I know he's getting ready to go too.
Yeah.
But the ship he's on isn't the same one we are. So, and even though they're going to the same ports, they're going different days to different ports. So we won't be in any port at the same time on the same day.
That's crazy. Be that close and yet still not see each other.
Yeah. Yeah, John, I thought you'd notice that.
Got a Black Rock Balls shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And Kayla was saying you're sending some pictures in, John. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. We can have something other than Earl on our albino and candy or candy top. Albino, the candy pictures. Yeah. And for those of you who don't, oh, by the way, Ben, you should be able, I did put in the stream key for Instagram, so you should be able to hit the thingy.
Yeah, it's still not letting me.
I saw a notification on StreamYard when we were recording on Monday that they were having some technical difficulties with Instagram, so that might be what's happening here again.
Yeah, bummer.
StreamYard bullies Instagram. And like sometimes Instagram needs bullying, but not our Instagram.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I know.
I wonder if everybody would like it. Like I was thinking maybe doing like a little segment every other week on like posting like the coolest reptile we've seen during the week, or a couple coolest reptiles we've seen during the week. Maybe talk about those. What do y'all think about that?
Sounds good to me.
Give some other people some shout outs out there and some of the amazing stuff people are creating, making. It might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And things are about to heat up. We're gonna have a ton of clutches hatching out, across the world. And
absolutely.
Yeah, this is a good time to start something like that.
Yeah, we're starting to hatch out some pretty nice stuff as well. So
my first pips are due for the end of the month. Our most underrated morphs. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. There's definitely some underrated morphs out there. I'll start with the most underrated morph out there to me is Bongo. Bongo does some amazing things, and it's so overlooked. It's unbelievable how nice bongo stuff is out there right now.
For sure.
Yes, definitely lots more that can be done with bongo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
we're trying. We're trying to make some cool bongo stuff right now too. So
yeah. Put this up. This girl on our rat snake promo. That's my girl Chickadee. She gave me a second clutch this morning. She just laid on on April 25th. I didn't want her to double clutch. She just decided to, and so now she's up to 39 eggs since April 25th, and I am.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a lot because the first one was
Yeah.
21, and she gave me 18, all fertile. She's too powerful. I gave her like a calcium breaded rat this morning. As soon as she was done, you know when they get like so like when they're like squeezed out like a tube of toothpaste, and like her little scoop was like it was like folded up under her ribs a little bit. And I was like, girl, I'm sorry.
Oh wow.
Why are you like this? She's not even gonna look at a man for the next like 2 years. So love her heart.
Yeah, but that's one heck of a season from one animal.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Mm-hmm. First season for the male I paired her with too, so old boy did good.
He sure did. He sure did. He wasn't playing around. He got in there and got the job done for you.
Right?
Yeah, I got a couple ball pythons that they just will not lock at all.
Oh no.
I got two of my best males in the collection, of course, just still. Like they're both around a year and a half. They're both like around 900 grams, and they still just act like they're just not interested. I've tried so many different little tricks of the trade to get them to go, and they just go in there and go hide in the back of the tub. Yeah. So, and for anybody out there, I have made sure they're males and they're being, paired to proven females. So they just don't want to get in there. I've tried, popping a different male, wiping the sperm off and wiping that on the female to get the scent, get in there to, trigger that, that survival instinct of wanting the male to take over, and nothing. Neither one of them still just will not go.
Oh.
So I've tried them with different females, thinking, oh, maybe each female they were no, they're just still not interested. It's frustrating because both of them are just amazing animals. But
yeah,
one thing that I worked with a researcher during COVID that does AI. The species she works with, when I say AI, now everyone thinks artificial intelligence. I'm a reproductive biologist, so AI for me is artificial insemination.
right.
So yeah, she works with artificial insemination with Louisiana pine snakes, and I think she's done it on a few other species, but I could have her come on sometime and talk a little bit about that if she was interested. But
no,
in a case like that, there might be some fairly simple things we could purchase. It's not going to be a turkey baster or something a lot smaller, but there might be a way you could get something from those males and then introduce that to the females you want and still have a shot,
Yeah.
There has to be a trick to it though, going in through the cloaca there to make sure you're not just injecting something up in their bowel.
Yeah.
So that might take some little research there, but
she might be able.
Yeah,
I was going to say she might be able to write something up that at least vets would understand, and you could at least have that opportunity to either have your vet come by or take an animal to the vet and have a vet help you do it, like that kind of a thing. Because I've heard this, over the years many times. You have a really valuable male, but he just doesn't want to walk. This might give you a chance of still getting something from him that season,
Right. I just wanted to comment on Crow Fabulous's comment there. So ball python males can lock, I've heard, as early as 9-10 months old. I don't push mine that young. I like my boys to be at least 800 to 900 grams. 700 is usually about the industry standard. And sometimes, depending on your feeding schedule, they can hit that anywhere between 9 months to a year old. And I do have males that were 800 grams at 11 months old, got right in and did the job. So yeah, it's not unusual. Now females, on the other hand, don't typically reach maturity enough to breed until they're at least 2.5 years old, at least. Some females can take up to 4 years before they're ready to go. So,
Yeah.
but I've had, on a very rare occasion, I did have a young female, and actually she laid like 11 eggs too, and she was, I want to say she was right at 20 months when she laid that clutch. So it was very unusual. And I just so happened to ultrasound her because she was up at the front of the tub and wasn't eating, and she was already like 1,600 grams. So, so yeah, she was ready to go. But that's a very rare instance. Usually it's about 2.5 to 3 years old is when the females are ready, in my experience. So
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's,
Yep.
I feel like it's not, I mean, it's not too bad to pair the males kind of early just because they have less skin in the game. Whereas doing that to a female, you're risking her a lot more. So,
yeah, well, the males, that's why it makes me cringe so bad when I hear breeders are like, "Oh yeah, I bred my boy. He was like 500 grams. I put him in there. I had him like 6 females." No,
I've even heard of them going below 400.
what?
Even below 400 grams. Some people say they've gotten males to go. So
No, put it back in the egg. That's too.
I mean, yeah. Do you not care about the health of your animal? I mean, I would never do that to a male because they go off feed so often during breeding. They're just not interested in feed. They just want to breed. So I just would never risk the health of one of my males, especially a really valuable one. I just have no desire to. I can wait for a male to be ready till he's up to size, because if he goes off food, I want him to be healthy through the season. So
makes sense.
Hey, Stephen, Courtney.
JM, you have what? Now it's too far behind, so we don't know what you have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, six is a little better. I know some people that purposely keep their males. Yeah, some people purposely keep their males under 1,000. I know that Justin from Kabelka said he's got some massive males just because they're older and they still breed just fine. So I don't think you necessarily need to, but I know a lot of people like that kind of 700 to 1,000 grams.
Yeah, I like mine between 800 and 1,100. So that's really close to where I like my guys to be. I've had 1,800, 1,900 gram males that breed no problem. I've never had a problem with a large male breeding. I've heard, people say that big males won't breed. I call massive BS on that. Some of the best breeders in my building are big boys.
Yeah.
And I think part of that too is like, maybe you get unlucky and the first time you try it is with a male that just doesn't want to breed. He happens to be big. And then you just think from then on out, big males don't breed, but
right.
You get a bunch of numbers, especially a bunch of numbers from a bunch of different places, kind of learn that it's not always the case,
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can just go on a few different Facebook groups and you see so much misinformation, and people want to argue with you. Somebody who literally just bought their first snake last week will argue to the death about, what the guy at the pet store told them. You know what I mean? It's like, come on.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, or they just saw one YouTube video and sometimes it's even they misunderstood what was said in it, but that's how they remember it. So they fight for that. So
right. Oh, right. Exactly. It just makes me laugh. There was a Facebook group one time where Josh Lemberg from Ball Python Shed was trying to help somebody out and kind of, messaged them on the page, on the post, tell them how to get whatever done they were asking about. And oh my God, some of the people in there like attacking Josh. And I'm like, I had to get on there and defend Josh. Like, listen, this guy's forgot more about breeding ball pythons than you'll ever know. You might want to listen to him. Yeah.
There's a ton that you learn every year that you do it. That's for sure. There's still little tricks. Like, it slows down over the years, but there's still little tricks. And sometimes it's someone that's pretty new. They say, I tried this or that. And you're like, oh, I never even thought of that. And I give it a try. I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, that works really well.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm constantly learning stuff, especially at shows and stuff like that. When, even listening to other vendors talking or other customers talking, it's pretty awesome, like just to hear different ways people do things. Some of them are just super interesting, like, wow, I might need to try that. And then some you're just like, no, you don't want to do that. Yeah. So it's always fun. It's a constant learning. I mean, if I can learn a better way to keep my animals, I'm all about it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, having a growth and learning mindset, and especially when dealing with animal husbandry, is, I think, like there's no way you can lose, basically.
Right.
As long as you have like the health of your animals in mind, and you recognize that there are different ways to success. If the animals are happy, then I think you're golden.
Right. And there's so many different ways to successfully do the same things. So like when people ask me, hey, how do you do this or how do you do that? I always start with, well, how I do it is. I don't ever claim, well, this is the way you do it. This is the way. No, I would never say that, because there's so many different ways to do certain things. Like ask 10 different breeders how to set up an egg box. That's always fun.
Oh yeah.
You'll get 10 different answers more than likely. So
for sure.
And temperatures and temperature cycling and light or light cycling, even for the same species, you'll get different answers. I've
100%.
had for a while, probably several years, I had no access to light. I had colubrids and ball pythons, and the only time the lights would be on was when I was working in there, and it was just dark all the time besides that. And the Honduran milks and the ball pythons all bred exactly the same as when I had a window and they had a light cycle and all that stuff. But I think some species it makes a difference, but others, even if people tell you it's super important, sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question for Ben, because I've been hearing conflicting things about like UVA or UVB light with ball pythons. Is there any true,
I don't know,
real data out there saying that it's of any benefit to a ball python? I mean, the fact that they're diurnal and aren't usually exposed to UVA and UVB.
Any species that's eating whole prey items shouldn't have a problem with that, because they're getting everything, whatever that animal is they were eating is out there getting all of those nutrients or producing them or whatever. So anything that's going to eat a whole prey item, it's unlikely. If it's a vertebrate, obviously if it's some weird organism that's very different from a vertebrate animal, then maybe not. But if it's a vertebrate animal eating a whole other vertebrate animal, it's unlikely it's going to have any, shortage in
nutrients,
certain amino acids or, vitamins or things like that, because it's getting it from that whole prey item. So it seems weird to me that it would matter. I haven't seen data, but I also haven't gone searching for it. Maybe there's something out there. It could be, but I haven't worried about it, and I've had really good luck. So.
Yeah, I mean, with snakes and racks and stuff too, especially ball pythons. I mean, and they're thriving, breeding. So clearly they're getting everything they need. I don't know. It just, I try to tell people who are using tanks or whatever to avoid light sources, because it just dries the air out really bad. Just low light, or, I've seen a few people. They're really cool, where they'll have one of those like a PVC enclosure with just the glass doors in the front, and they'll run those I don't want to say they're paper, they're like plastic little tape light around the edges. Those usually look really cool. So
I've seen those.
Yeah, and they don't really emit heat either, so that's even better. So it's not drying out the air. For a species like a ball python that does require a little bit higher humidity than a colubrid.
IVA morphs. I know with lighting, I tend to do granted, I also have North American colubrids exclusively for now. And I try to default back to what would they be getting in the wild? And so I like to try to offer UV options. But I mean, granted, if they seem to do well without, but if it can be offered, I think it's nice to, but not really but I haven't seen anything that shows that they super duper duper need it. So your mileage may vary.
Right.
Many ways to success, as we said.
So VA Morphs, they're local to us, and they set up a few same shows we do. They make some really amazing animals for those out there who do not know who that is. Definitely check them out on Instagram. Give them a follow. They make some amazing snakes.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. And Tyler also does jujitsu. So any of you jujitsu people, he's done some MMA too. I think he even held a local title around here in the Virginia, Tennessee-ish area.
So you're saying, Dr. Ben, you're just letting people know not to mess with him or mouth off to the guy?
Well, I don't even have to tell you. If you meet Tyler in person, he advertises.
Oh
yeah. Yeah,
you know,
it's obvious. Yeah, absolutely.
He is a super nice guy, and
he is.
Yeah,
he towers over me too, so I would never back talk to the guy either.
you tried to pull something on him, you would pay for it.
Oh,
fair enough. Tyrion of CD Reptiles asked up there earlier, hey, Dr. Ben, did you get a chance to play with the European gravel samples I sent you?
So I know we talked about that, I think on the live a week or two ago. I still don't think that I've seen those, Tyrion. So if you can message us either through Instagram or Facebook, either way, send a message, let me know where they got sent to and when. Either they're sitting on a shelf in Texas or they've come here and they're in a pile and I just didn't happen to see them.
It's a large pile of sheds. I've seen it. So
yeah. They did just send me some that I just got like a couple days ago, and I went through them very quickly. So I could have missed if it was in the very newest stuff. But if you sent them like, 3 or 4 months ago, then we need to kind of do a deeper look. So if you let me know where you sent them, what kind of envelope or package they're in, and about what the date was when you sent them, we can look in Texas and Virginia and find them. I would love to look at them too. I just got to get them in my hands. So,
yeah. Let's see. Okay, got that. We should mention this. VA Morse's secrets. By the way, so Troy, do you want to tell us about this awesome animal? Here, let me hide the comments.
All right. So that snake in both those photos is the exact same animal, not from the same clutch, not a same whatever. This is the same snake. And I bought her. She is an Orange Dream hypopide. She was produced by Jason Kittinger from Kittinger Reptiles. And that's how she looked on the picture on the left, like a beautiful, high quality example of an OD hypopide that I bought to put my OD hypopide male to make some supers. And over the course of about 2 months, she has slowly transitioned from the left, and now the photo on the right was just yesterday when I was cleaning her tub. See, she has gone completely exanthic, and a beautiful, high quality exanthic look to her. Every little bit of color, even in her whole head, everything is just gone.
Yeah, and here's like a mid-transition picture that he sent me too.
Yes, exactly. So that was during the transition.
I think you sent a video as well. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here, hang on. To be continued. Let me pull that up.
But yeah, it's unbelievable how amazing she looks now. Maybe I should send the shed test in to you guys to see if maybe there is a potential line of exanthic in there that is testable. But it seems odd, though, that and this is not a hatchling, by the way. This girl had some size to her. She's like 350 grams. So when she made that transition, so it's just so strange. Mike, no, I did not. I've always used the same bedding. We use Coco to go, so there's no change at all. All my snakes have been on it. So she's been on it since I got her from Jason. So, and I had her for a while before she made that color change. But yeah, you can see right there where she was starting to lose some of that color. Yeah.
So cool. I mean, she's gorgeous in both. In both forms, all three forms, I guess.
Yeah, John might be on something right there. Might in the water down here for sure.
Honestly.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
probably, maybe they took the fluoride out of the water down here and that made her change.
As far as what we would like, we would love to get a shed from her, and we
Yes.
can do a low pass whole genome. That way we could look and see, the other axanthics if there's anything weird in those areas. But
Yeah.
also we do have some. I don't think there's any indication that this animal has pastel in it, but we do have some animals where people have sent sheds in that it seems to be highly correlated with pastel combos
So
that will do this same thing.
I did reach out to Jason. He said there was no pastel in that pairing at all.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it was the ODYB hypopide to a, I think just a straight hypopide, if I remember right. So
wild.
Yeah. So yeah, it might be the same trait, but this time it's actually disconnected from pastel. That's
Ooh,
possible.
yeah.
So,
but yeah,
so yeah, we would.
Do you want me to send it to you or send it to Sean?
Send it to me would be best.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if you just go to any of you, if you have something weird like this, if you go to our Rare Genetics Inc. website and go to help us or help us design new sheds or new tests, I think is the section. Then you got raregenetics.com/help. If you send to that PO box, if it's something weird or a new morph that you're, or it's an established morph, but you want that test, any of that stuff, if you send that to the Virginia PO box, then I'll get it and I'll do that same low pass whole genome sequencing and see if we can find something. It might take us with this where it's such a rare thing where you have a nicely, brightly colored animal that over the first, few months or whatever shifts to axanthic. If we get, a dozen or a couple dozen like that and we can run them, we might be able to pull something out that actually makes sense.
I'm excited for her to lay eggs for me eventually to see if it happens again with some kind of genetic trait that'll do that. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people might want that. Get an amazing OD hypopide as a baby, and then as they get older, you have an amazing axanthic.
Yeah.
So that might be pretty cool. Little presto changeo.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I know some people that have those pastels that go axanthic pop up multiple times, but I haven't talked to someone that's like, hey, yeah, it acts like an incomplete dominant or acts like a recessive. Like, I don't think people have like narrowed down, how that works or whatever. But
yeah,
True Fader. There you go.
I'm happy to see Redhead on that list.
Yes,
for sure. I
made sure to bring it up.
Redhead sheds. I don't have any supers, but
I take what we can get
for sure.
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'll send some to you then.
There's many morphs that, like Spider, for example, and Pinstripe, we're never going to get homozygous ones of those. If people do have super redheads or homozygous redheads, those are very valuable. We would love to get them. But even if you know for sure, you're very confident you have an actual redhead, just one copy, those are still helpful too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm completely confident that I have quite a few redheads in the collection.
Yeah, those would be valuable as well.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what are the ones we're looking for? So if you're not sure if you have one that is like what we're looking for, then chances are it's not what we're looking for. So the people that would have an animal that either they purchased before 2010 or they, got it directly from the Bells or directly from Ralph Davis, that's what we're looking for. So if you're questioning whether yours is or not, then it's probably not one. What's valuable to us right now for that lesser butter question is ancestry back to when it was imported in. So very few people are going to have that. But if you happen to have a lesser or a butter and you know who you bought it from and you reach out to them, just like Rodents and Royals, when they got that weird result and we helped them find a mutation for it, they reached out to Bob Vu and said, hey, Bob Vu, I got this from you. It's something new. He's like, oh, I got that directly from the Bells. So like if you talk to whoever produced what you got and you have a story like that, then that's what we want. If you got it off of Craigslist or you got it at a show or you got it from a breeder that got it from another breeder, there's not that lineage all the way back to either the Bells or Ralph Davis, then it's just another one that'll be a question mark,
Yeah, I do have she is a butter voodoo desert ghost that I got from Bob. So,
Okay.
so maybe I'll send that in to you. And, so
Yeah, that would be interesting to know.
and
If
she
that,
does look really good. Like compared to an average lesser, she does look very, very superior in genetic quality. So
yeah.
so she might be one of the true butters.
Yeah. People that have either butters or lessers from Bob Vu, those would be worth running, and I can follow up with, or you can, either one. You that bought it from Bob, you could follow up and say, hey, is this one that came from the Bells or not? That kind of a thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That would be kind of interesting to find out.
So the thing is, though, is I don't know if Bob would even have that record. Usually, like I know he doesn't really keep a database on
for
certain
the one
ones.
from
So,
Rodents. Yeah. For the one from Rodents and Royals, he knew immediately where that came from. But yeah,
right.
some of them, he may have, bought something that had lesser in it from someone else that got it from someone else, kind of a thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, right now it seems like the actual butter mutation is much more rare than any of us thought like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
It
and
seems
that's
to be,
the whole argument all along with lesser and butter too is they are extremely similar, but you can, if you're paying attention, you can see a visual difference in what people are claiming is a true butter versus a true lesser.
yeah.
There are differences
Yeah, and what Ralph mentioned very early on, because he was producing what he called his butter balls and then seeing what the Bells were making. But then he had his line that came from his Platy Daddy. And he said the ones from the Platy Daddy, which now we know are lessers, he said those over time go more like a brownish tannish kind of a color, whereas the butters seem to go a little more yellow. And so, once they're a couple years old, there should be more differentiation. But since we've always kind of thought of them as being very similar, I haven't kept track. I have some that were sold to me as lesser, some that were sold to me as butter, and
right.
I didn't really pay attention because I think of them being the same thing, but
Yeah,
they're not the same thing. They're different types of mutations, and they're in very different parts of the gene. It's a very different thing that happens to look fairly similar.
yeah, and I will say that seems to be true if I do have a true butter because she, even as a breeder, like she's ready to breed now. I'm getting ready to start pairing her. She is so bright yellow, and I just figured that was the Het Desert Ghost influence on her, but she is really yellow. She is beautiful, even as an adult. She did not brown one bit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And yes, Jay and Lizzie, whichever one of you that's on. Yes, I have even more stranger data coming in the next couple of days. I feel like I have good enough hits that I'm going to have some to try out over the next couple weeks. So if you use a good luck charm or say prayers or both or whatever, these next 2 weeks would be a good time to do that. Tri-stripe we've got a lot of, but redhead we need more of. So.
All right.
Yeah, I can send some of that, and I have a few strangers I can send in, actually from two different lines, and they look completely different too. So I'm going to be very interested in the different lines because I got my like the super high expression stranger clown hat hypo female I got from Mike Kano at Fable Creations, and I know that is like the Iris line of stranger, and compared to some other, seems like there's other lines that just aren't as high expression with the stranger that I've seen anyway. It's like you see really good high quality examples and some others that you're like, it's okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we've seen some people have sent us pictures that are very striped versus not striped at all. There's some big differences. That'll be kind of interesting to play with.
And the amount of white that really comes up the sides too, like the one I got from Fable Creations, is she's a visual clown, but the white just comes up so high on her sides. You would swear there had to be yellow belly or something in there, but there isn't. So she's just such a high quality example.
Yeah.
Oh, that DG hasn't. Yeah.
Certainly can. Same with clown and pied. And
yeah.
I definitely am able to pick out. I have a super phantom het pied and I bought her as a Poss het. But if you look at normal super phantoms, versus the one that I have, mine has like a perfect stripe, and then that stripe kind of like fades out to patternless and comes back as a stripe kind of a thing. But just that, very high degree of striping almost always means that with a super phantom, almost always means it's a het pied that does that and stripes out leopards a lot.
Crofabulous, is that name from based off of like Crofab, the anti-venom?
Probably.
I like it.
Awesome name.
Also, what is that?
Do you expect sex determination tests to be available for chondros, heloderma, and teliqua? Yeah, or teliqua. I don't know how you say that. I've always only read it. Blue tongue skinks. Yeah, I do expect those. It's been difficult to get the ball rolling. We've tried a ton with chondros and hit our head against the wall a bunch of times, but we're still trying. I did get something to work a few years back, but it did work perfectly for most sires and their offspring, but not a couple, because I just couldn't find a marker to be able to trace. But anyway, yes, we are very hopeful. Not only chondro, heloderma, and blue tongues. I also hope we can get some monitor species. Those would be really helpful for breeders as well. So we're working on it.
Oh, we lost Kayla.
She gone.
She's like, I'm out of here.
Well, thanks all of you that have joined us. Let's see.
Yeah, 26 people watching. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the podcast. Yes. These people definitely deserve your support. So, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, Doc.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't know if we showed this, but John did say his butters and lessers pattern and overall look is pretty different. So, let's see. Super lesser bell maker male just shut out yesterday. So we talked a little bit about that a little earlier on. The only lesser butter sheds that are useful for us right now would be if you have their ancestry back to either the Bells or to Ralph Davis. So if you don't know for sure where your animals came from, don't worry about it. I know there's not going to be very many of those still around. The thing we kind of said was, if you bought it before 2010, then the likelihood that we'll be interested is much higher. If you bought it within the last 5 to 10 years, then more than likely you don't have that ancestry information anymore. So sex determination included in a panel, that definitely could happen eventually. Not in the next 3 to 6 months, but maybe if that's for ball pythons specifically. Yeah, that's something down the road we may be able to offer. I would imagine. So I hope like 5 years from now, we'll have a panel that will do sex determination and the top 100, most common ball python mutations, something like that. I think that's very doable. And we may even find like some markers for like clutch size or like number of eggs, like to get, kind of breed towards having a larger number of eggs for me. So the trade-off when you look at life history traits that have to do with reproduction and you look at egg-laying animals, if there is no predator force going on, there's not a worry of a predator eating the eggs, then having many smaller eggs is great because you get more individuals, as long as they're not so small that they're less likely to make it to adulthood. In my experience with ball pythons, when I have those smaller eggs, like if I get a first-time female that lays 10 or 12 and they're smaller eggs, those babies still usually do just fine. So if we selectively bred towards making a larger number of eggs per clutch, and those eggs would be a little bit smaller, as long as those offspring still, grow and are healthy and all that, then that's a good thing. Now, eventually, if we push so hard and we get 20 egg clutches and they're so small, half the babies die because they're not developed enough or whatever. Obviously, that's too far, but But anyway, I think eventually 5-10 years from now, not only would we have sex and morphs, but we may be able to have some of these other traits that we're interested in as breeders. That's something they do in poultry and in cattle. You'd be able to, if you're buying straws of semen, to be able to do artificial insemination on the cows you own. You can get the specific data. You can compare potential sires to see, which ones would give you more marbling in the meat, or which ones would give their female offspring a larger milk yield per year or whatever. They have that all figured out. We just have to do a lot more sequencing, and we can find markers like that too. And we can find stuff like Volta, or like overall, we might be able to find a marker that shows, hey, these animals are likely to be, females over 3 feet, males over 4 feet, or females over 4 feet, or whatever, or maybe these will be more likely to tap out at 6,000 grams instead of 3,000 grams. There's going to be genetic markers for all those things. We just have to do a lot of sequencing before we'll know what those are. So there's lots of fun stuff for the future.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. Plans to do
work never ends.
That's right.
It's true.
Yeah. Recessives only. I actually did some numbers on that. I do think so. This second for RGI, I think we have 16 recessive tests. So I am going to see if I can optimize those, because we do get this question fairly often. I'm going to see, there's someone that wanted to do several, like dozens, just for recessives. So I'm going to do that in a kind of less efficient way, since I don't have that set up specifically to do those 16. And then obviously another month or two from now, we might pick up a few more recessives, but yeah, I think sometime in 2025, we'll make an all recessive panel available also.
That'd be cool.
You were talking the last 2 weeks ago, just before you went to Utah, that you had got a lot of results and stuff back. Is there an update on that? Like a second line of red stripe I asked about last time, and there was a few other people asking about some results. Do you have any updates on that?
Specifically on red stripe, not yet. I'm still playing with that stuff. And then stuff we can announce, nothing yet. I can tell you I have a couple tests worked out. They're good to go.
Oh, great.
But we're kind of waiting. It seems to do better for us and for our vendors if we release like 5 or 10 at a time. But I can tell you, red stripe, I don't have that cleaned up yet. We're still looking at more. And I just was, right before I got on here, I was messaging the place where they do sequencing, and they're going to have some data they're sending me this week, and then either next week or the week after, even more. So awesome. It's kind of stuff rolling through. It's been a little slower. They kind of went through some transitions of how they were doing things, and it kind of made it so we're going to have to get our rerun. And anyway, it's coming. But not only that, black pastel is another one, that third line of black pastel. There's been several of you that I know watch the show, and I've met at reptile shows that sent in black pastels. They're clearly black pastels, but they're that third line that no one can test for. There's a bunch of that's going to be in this data. The stranger, mahogany. So there's a lot of them that are going to get I think there's like between 20 and 25 that I'll have more data for.
We won't tell anyone. You can test me.
Yeah, you can tell us. We won't tell anybody.
Yeah,
no one's listening right now.
There's only 25 people in the chat. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a hint. If you pay attention to the sheds needed over the last 3 or 4 shows, some of them got taken off.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those that got taken off because they're done. Not all of them.
There you go. So everybody, if you want to go do some homework, go tune into some of the other shows, and you can figure it out.
You put in the work, and you want to share what you found, you can. But I can't confirm or deny yet.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, how long can I hold on to a shed and still be valid for testing?
So I have some, as long as the shed is taken care of right after it is shed off of the animal, as long as it doesn't sit in a wet environment. So if that animal sheds and it's really wet in that cage, or they dump it right into the water bowl, it's already going to be toast after it sits there for a few hours. No matter what you do, that DNA is super fragmented and isn't going to amplify for us. But as long as you are watching for that shed, like for me, I check every morning and every night for animals I want to pull sheds from.
Mhm.
And so it's always 12 hours or less since they shed, since I'm checking every morning and night. If you're checking morning and night, some of it's in the water bowl, some of it's not. Just go to the part that's the furthest away. Just take a piece the size of a quarter to a silver dollar at the very most. We don't need more than that. But yeah, as long as you collect it properly, that it doesn't sit anywhere wet, and then you put it somewhere for a day or two to completely dry out, and then put it in a Ziploc. I have some that I did like that, and it's over 7 years now, and I'll pull one or two out every once in a while to run them again, and they still run just fine. So it's for sure months and for sure years at this point. I haven't tested decades yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if, as long as you dry it properly right after it's shed, even at room temperature, they're good for years.
Yeah. I would say also just make sure like you put it in a, like, cause I use the Ziploc baggies and then I'll write down what it is, you know, or what the snake is or what I'm looking for, and put that in the baggie with the shed. Just make sure it's clean too, by the way. Most everybody there.
Yes.
Always helps if the shed is nice and clean. So when you get one, just try to use the cleanest area, or give it a little wipe off, and then put it in the bag with the identifier. So, you know, don't forget to put that label in there, because if you get them mixed up and then your results come back, you know, not what you were expecting, it could be you mixed the sheds up. So
yeah, and it's really sitting in the water that's the problem. Like some people ask, well, what if there's bedding in it, or you know, this or that? It's completely fine to take that little piece the size of a silver dollar, take it over to your sink and rinse it and kind of wipe off any junk or whatever, and then let it dry. That's totally fine. If you want to rinse that off, like if you have some urates, it's like the only piece of shed that's dry, but it's got some urates mixed with it or whatever. Totally fine. Go rinse it off, but then set it somewhere like, you know, on a high shelf in a dry room, let it completely dry out. And that's great. One of the other researchers, Eastern Michigan University, Dr. Hannah Siddell, that's something that I know they routinely did when they would get sheds in. They were getting a lot of full sheds, and they had a protocol that I remember reading, where they would specifically, you know, kind of rinse / wash those sheds and then let them completely dry again. So that's fine. You just don't want it sitting in water. That's like DR Guitar said, yeah, that's the demon.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no need to send a full shed with the snake poop still in it.
Definitely.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like when you go to open, especially if it's in one of those sealed plastic envelopes, it's like a waterproof type of a envelope or package. As soon
Open
as
it
you
up.
cut into it, yeah, as soon as you cut into it, you're like,
A poof
oh,
of spores
I know
come out.
exactly what
Yeah.
this person's snake room smells like.
Yeah, I heard Dr.
Yeah.
Seidel talk about that one time on a podcast. I think it might have been the Samson Snakeatorium. He had her on there. Brian had her on there.
Yeah.
It's been a while ago, a couple of years ago, and she was talking about that. How, man, so many just dirty, filthy shit. People would just send in the whole shed.
Grody.
Yeah.
I've gotten ones that are like kind of like a fluorescent green. I think Kayla has too. It's like, yeah, I'm definitely not opening that Ziploc.
It's like, sorry, that one's, we're not trying it. It's going in the trash.
Yeah, and
Please.
I've gotten a few. I've gotten a few of the sheds in there nice and flat, and they've, you know, taken all the air out. It's all good, but like there's visibly like water in there with the shed, like sealed in there with it. So like, oh, I can see water in there. I know it's spent at least 2 days, if not 4, in the mail. Like, yeah, it's
right.
Yeah. Fair enough. Earlier, I disappeared and grabbed this guy because I have his tank over here, and he just there's a shelf in his tank. It's like a 6-footer. He loves it, and he decided whenever he slithers down from his shelf, he just like he goes down gracefully for the first third, and then the other half he like flings and it bangs against the side of the tank, and then he gets the zoomies and starts banging around more. So bless his heart.
Do the zoomies come because he's like afraid of that sound or whatever?
I think so. He's not very smart, but this is the man who sired those like 39 eggs. So, love his heart.
Is his name Romeo or?
It is Noon Johnson, which is named after a jazz musician in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
Who,
all right.
Noon Edward Johnson, the creator of the bazooka, not the weapon, but the instrument the weapon was named after. Which is,
you might want to consider renaming him Nick Cannon, because he's got.
He did good. He's only 3 too. It's his very first breeding year, but he did so good. So proud of him.
Yeah.
What a man.
Yep. He's the Nick Cannon of the snake world.
Oh yeah.
Proud of you, bud. It's okay. He's getting a new girlfriend next year. We'll make visual lavenders.
So hey, just like Nick Cannon. So there you go.
It's fitting pretty well.
So, shout out Nick Cannon.
Hilltop pythons. What about morse that disappeared and came back? Sometimes like maybe tri-stripe would have been like that. I can't remember if there's any others we brought back, but people will just keep asking, hey, what about tri-stripe? What about tri-stripe? So sometimes I'll put it back because I was like, okay, a lot of people want this, especially for like homozygous visual tri-stripes. We'll still take more of those just to make sure. But yeah, that's a good question.
Moldy shed. Yeah. I think the one that gassed me was a bull snake shed, I think. But all species get the gnarly ones, unfortunately.
Yeah, they can be bad.
Oh yeah.
Well, one question for you, Troy. What show are you doing next?
Oh yeah.
Next show is Charlotte Repticon, and that is on the 21st and 22nd of this month.
Oh,
cool. So a little over 2 weeks. It'll be the weekend after we get back from Alaska. So
yeah.
But yep, we'll be there. We'll be bringing a lot of beautiful snakes. I sent Kayla some pictures earlier of some of the ones that we will have at the show. One of our Eternal Flame clutches is ready to go, so we will have some of those babies at the show.
Yeah.
And a lot of other nice stuff. We don't have much left over from last year. I think we only have 4 snakes from 2024 left.
Good.
All right.
So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
Everything else is 2025. So, but we are just now kind of really getting into the season. I've got 26 girls out there in ovulation right now, so they're all we're gonna get a lot real fast. I've got I think 5 due this month by the end of the month to lay.
Awesome.
Looks like 8 clutches in the incubator. So, but we're not a big operation by no means. This year by far will be our biggest year, and then next year we're gonna drop back on the clutch production. We like to be around 35 to 40 clutch range. This year we'll probably be 60 to 65 outside shot at 70. I honestly hope that not all of them go, because that can get really overwhelming. Our biggest season before this was 2 years ago in 2023. We did 44, so that was the most we ever had before now. So we like to hold our animals a lot as well, so they're well behaved when customers get them and not bitey and very.
That's how I am too.
Yeah.
The most we had was in 2022. We got 63 clutches, and that was with me and Kevin, that's in the snake room all the time with me. That was with 2 of us, and that was a lot for 2 people. Even though we love ball pythons and love babies and love being in there working with them, that was a lot.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It is so much work. So, but we love it though. I mean, we're definitely going to have a big year. Another thing too, why I don't like so many clutches as well is like I try so hard not to maintenance feed any animal. Just get them on a regular schedule, routine. No, I don't like them to skip meals. That's why when you come to our table and you see a snake that's 8, 9, 10 months old, it's going to be appropriately sized for that age. Because it's been fed weekly. Not
Good.
Like
that's awesome.
14, 16, 18 months old, and you see on Instagram, and then on YouTube, Morph Market, I'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
You know, you see a 1.5-year-old snake that's still 120 grams. That's cringe makes
No,
me
that's
cringe every time.
yeah.
It's if you really pay attention, it's more prevalent than you might think. So,
Unfortunately.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a point for me where I really want to, there's a lot to be said about like low and slow feeding, but at the same time you still gotta like let them grow during those critical first few years.
Right.
The girl I'm pairing him to next year is actually a year older than him, but when I got her, I had yearlings bigger than her. So she's 4 this year and just now hitting breeding size, and that's because I spent the last year letting her catch up. And, oh man, I was very sad. I thought I'd be getting a girl more like this size when I got her at 3. So that was wild.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So Jay's probably at work right now. He may not be in the chat anymore, but Jay and Lizzie will be at Charlotte Repticon.
Woo!
In their usual spot.
Yeah.
Good. Let's answer a couple other questions, and then we need to
Yes.
show off the pictures from Troy.
Oh yeah. Actually, Troy, can you email those to me real quick? I had them on my phone when you texted me, but I don't have them on my
the email never came through.
I got the first email with the color changing baby, but I didn't get the others.
So all those are on my phone, which is what I'm on.
Oh, okay. Actually, tell you what, I'll do it. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, you do that. I'll talk about these couple of questions real quick. So, Mandarin, yes. So we haven't openly asked for Mandarin sheds because, just to be completely honest, we don't trust Mandarin sheds to just come from anyone. If you yourself, whoever listening to this, if you have some Mandarins you feel very confident are really Mandarin, the one copy, the het Mandarin, or, homozygous or heterozygous, I guess it's Mandarin versus super Mandarin. Definitely go to the help section of our website, send that into the PO box. The most important thing you can do there, though, if a Mandarin shed comes in with no information about who produced it or whatever, just like I said, being completely honest, it's just going to go in the trash. So if you feel very confident you have a real Mandarin or super Mandarin, it's very important that you let me know. So it's not like some of the other ones where it's pretty easy to tell a clown or a pied or this or that. With the Mandarin, it's a little more difficult or nuanced. So right in there, write me a little note and just say, hey, this is the person that I bought this from, or this is the person that produced it. These are the reasons why I'm very confident that this is an actual Mandarin or super Mandarin. Then I will run that shed. But like I said, if it just comes in just saying Mandarin or homozygous, whatever, and there's no information about who produced it, it's just going to go in the trash, because I'm just very worried with Mandarin specifically. Lace is another one that's worried me. Mandarin also, just that if things are called incorrectly, and it can be completely honest, it's just an honest mistake. I've misidentified things many times over the years. So when we spend the time and money to do the sequencing and put it into the software to make the calls, and then I've got to design stuff and test it out, all of that's dependent on trusting, what that shed was sent in as. So that's why you haven't ever seen Mandarin in a list, because we just are very selective which ones we'll actually work with. So Monarch, yes. Monarch, yeah. Thanks, Geek. Yes, it's a lot. We're very lucky, blessed, however you want to think about it, to have an industry that's supporting this new test design and purchasing the tests we have, so we have money to develop more. To someone that doesn't really think about it, it seems like, oh, we've got all these cool tests, and Charlie's doing it too. We've got all these cool tests coming out. But every single one of those, that's thousands of dollars, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. We've purposely not added up what we spent on Monsoon because it would be very depressing. Between what we spent and Charlie and people overseas, it would not surprise me at all if it's over $100,000 that we blew on Monsoon. And then that's not taking into account, the time for some of the people doing that. They weren't charging for their time. They're working on it because they want to get it figured out. So if you added up the man hours and the actual cost for reagents and sequencing, all those things, it's a lot. So that's, a really long answer for Mandarin. We just were worried about spending all that time and money and having hits that are not correct. So Monarch, that's another one we're working on. So we'll have it soon. Especially, that I think that one, I really hope that one we have in the next month or so, as long as I get all this data that I was supposed to get all of it last week or 2 weeks ago. And now it's having to get rerun a couple of times, but it's coming.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
All right, Troy. So we got these pretty things here.
Oh,
I just pulled it up in the email. So tell us about these babies. Oh, and we lost him. Troy, come back. We just wanted to look at your snakes.
Maybe he had an auto eject going for 1 hour, because that was like almost right on at 1 hour. He's out.
Oh no! Oh, I hope not.
Probably not, but
we can look at him anyway.
Yeah, we can see that you're still here in spirit, Troy. I don't know if you can hear us. Oh, now he's not.
Yeah. Oh.
Not even in spirit. So
No.
hopefully he'll pop back in.
Yeah. Still pretty snakes.
Yeah, so these are, he'll be able to tell more specifics, but I think these are Campfire and Eternal Flame project animals. So he's got cinnamon and enchi and banana and those are, and obviously the calico or sugar. I think he's working with calico. So all of those things are in these combos.
Oh, so pretty. Oh my gosh. I like the forehead. I like the little forehead on this one.
Yeah,
it's adorable. Is it calico that does that, or I think sugar will sometimes have them?
Sorry about that.
There you are.
It's like as soon as we put your pictures up, boom, you're gone.
Yeah. So that one is a that's actually cinnamon calico yellow belly extreme gene.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her sides. The picture doesn't do her justice. Her sides are like really super silvery. She's really, really cool looking in person.
Yeah, I bet.
Beautiful.
She's cute.
Yeah.
I love the color on this. That's the Campfire, right?
That is a yellow belly extreme gene Campfire.
Too cool.
So what is just a Campfire? What is that combo?
So this snake is a cinnamon enchi calico, which is Campfire. Okay. This one is adding also yellow belly and extreme gene.
So pretty. Like the contrast between like that light belly and then just glowing up as it goes up top and gets dark.
And I love these pictures too, because you can see like by the cocoa in there that the photo's not altered in any way. It shows the true color. And she is a super, super orange and beautiful. Just a beautiful, beautiful animal. So this one right here is a banana Campfire. So this is Eternal Flame minus the extreme gene. So you add the extreme gene and it just turns it that super stark, deep orange. But the belly on this boy is really orange, but the top looks more faded, almost like he's hypo, but there's no hypo in there.
That's too cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and this is cool too. This is the one we were.
Okay, so
the calico.
Yeah. So that animal right there. That is a. Yeah, that is actually one of the Eternal Flames, but also yellow belly as well.
Okay.
So that's banana, cinnamon, enchi, calico, extreme gene, yellow belly on that one.
Awesome.
So with the adults you're using to make these, are they homozygous for any of these traits, or are you going like, multiple, essentially these are, several single copy or hets of all of these things, and I guess you end up with some that are homozygous for some of these traits?
Usually the only homozygous thing we will hit are super enchies. We don't breed our male to other cinnamons just to avoid the super cinnamon issues.
Valid.
So typically he's bred, so he is a Eternal Flame, which is banana, cinnamon, inchy, calico, extreme gene. And he does have most of his girlfriends, like the clutch in the incubator right now, that was a super inchy female. He does have another female that is an inchy. I also think she's scrambler. So there is, I do have one I strongly suspect is scrambler. I've sent photos of it to a few people. They're pretty sure it is too, but I'm not comfortable enough to call her scrambler yet. But I'm pretty sure she's scrambler, and she is just stunning.
She's cool. I cannot
But
wait to see what
it's not
she.
this one though. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. But there's just this animal. I'm excited to see what she looks like as she grows, and like that pink turns to actual white. Oh,
So,
that's gonna be cool.
Yes, exactly. All that pink will be white, and usually on the back there really turns a much darker orange. That cinnamon usually turns that. Cinnamon and inchy together being allelic just cause that, with banana, just makes an unbelievably beautiful deep orange. And a lot of them will have like those lavenders. If you really look at that, like on her back, all the darker areas is like a purpley lavender color.
Yeah.
So she's
that's
phenomenal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cutie. I love it.
Yeah.
Is that another picture of the same one? Or no, that's a different animal.
Totally different snake. Yep.
Cool. And same combo?
This one actually came from a different mom, and this one, I think this might be the girl I'm thinking is Scrambler as well.
Oh, gotcha.
So you can see she's calico, but above where the alien heads is, where you can see where the white in the little alien heads, even above the alien heads towards the dorsal, she's also white. Yeah. So like even on her tail, you can see there's a gap of white between the tail stripe going down.
Yeah.
And then also in the photo, like right there where you're kind of zooming in on the bottom there, yeah, you can see how the white, it's not typical for a calico to bleed outside of those alien heads. And this one is definitely, this female and another male from that clutch are bleeding outside of the alien heads white like that.
Very cool.
Exciting.
And the pattern is definitely all pushed up from the belly as well. The only thing that kind of gives me pause is like on the tip of her, where you can see her tail. Usually scramblers have a much thinner tail stripe than that. So that's what's given me pause to call it scrambler. So you can kind of see a little bit higher, almost like where her nose is there. See, that's where the tail stripe kind of starts.
Oh, I see.
Typically, that's like a really razor thin on a scrambler. So I'm very hesitant to call this scrambler yet.
Fair enough. Oh gosh, that's cool.
Yeah. So believe it or not, I'm not positive that one actually is calico. I think this is a banana, cinnamon, inchy, extreme gene scrambler. No calico in that animal.
Interesting.
That is pretty.
I like this little like chain of orange going through on her side here. That is so cool.
That's also kind of another little sign of some scramblers, all the chaining going down there as well. So until we can get, a shed test for a scrambler, and again, there you go. You can see the tip of the tail on him where it has that little stripe down. Again, that stripe typically is thinner on scramblers. So again, it's really hard to tell. Plus, when you get two allelic genes together, sometimes they can react pretty strongly in different ways. And a lot of the Eternal Flame stuff is pretty crazy like that. But this one right here, there's not a calico shed test out, is there? I don't.
Not yet.
I didn't think so. So, but honestly, I'm leaning towards that is not calico in that animal.
Man, that's so cool. And I love the contrast of those dark eyes too. That's really pretty.
Yeah. And the color is definitely different than all the others we've seen.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and I love him. or her. Either way, that's cute.
Yeah. So that right there is banana, inchy, calico, yellow belly. The picture really doesn't do it justice. On her belly, where you can see the yellow flaming in the picture, in person, those flames are really orange. They're like super, super orange. I've hatched some of these out before, and you can kind of see on her tail where her tail's really turning, like it's kind of, you know what I mean, like past her head going down, where it's really turning bright, bright white. So typically these do whiten up a lot. Like a lot of the little yellow that's still in those alien heads eventually turns white in this combination. So, and there's no pastel in this either, too. So,
so she's going to stay that color.
Her head has that blushed out mark, but there is no, we do not put pastel in our Eternal Flames or that whole project. So
that's cool.
Very pretty.
Yeah. Oh,
that's crazy awesome. With those mixing those mutations. It's crazy how much cinnamon changes things.
Yeah.
That one's like a total different, both the pattern and the color is different than all those other.
So this is cinnamon. Yes, this is a campfire, another animal from the same clutch that I strongly suspect Scrambler. So this is
what about this one tells you Scrambler?
What's that?
What about this one says Scrambler too?
So I've made a lot of different campfires, which is cinnamon inchy calico, and they don't look like this girl at all. They just don't look like her. She is completely different than anything that's come out before. The pattern on her sides, and then honestly, I should have sent you a better picture of her sides. So all the pattern is pushed up away from her belly.
Yeah.
You know, her color is much better. In person, where it kind of looks like almost little brownish speckles, in person, all that area is like really orange in person.
Cool.
So, but that's more than likely, when I sell her, I'm going to just sell her as a campfire, which is cinnamon, inchy, and calico. Since there's just no way for me to know for sure that there's Scrambler in that. So, but we've been kind of really playing with Scrambler for a little bit, and like we made some amazing Scrambler clown pies last year that were just unbelievable. Everybody thought for sure there was orange dream or yellow belly in them, and you guys shed tested them. They were negative for OD and YB, so they were straight Scrambler clown pies.
So that color on those was amazing.
But awesome. So just a few that will all of those will be at the show and available.
Yeah, awesome.
Any of you that can make it to the Charlotte show, you said that's in two weekend, I guess 2 weeks and
Charlotte,
2 days.
Yeah. It's at Cabarrus, I'm not even sure how they say it. I think it's Cabarrus County Arena. It's technically, I think, in Concord, North Carolina, just north of Charlotte. And that is on the 21st and 22nd of this month. So a little over 2 weeks from this coming weekend. There's some amazing vendors at that show. VA Morphs is usually there. JLP Morphs, Coffins Critters, Limey Smidger, all his banners are Royal Reptilia are there. I'm not sure if they'll be there, but Leviathan vends that show from time to time. Leveled Up Exotics is there. Matt, another one of our sponsors, Matt from American Made Exotics is there. So there are some phenomenal vendors that vend that show. Conley Herps is there. So some great vendors, high quality, great animals, healthy animals that you can find at that show.
Yeah, and it's a pretty nice venue too. As far as Repticons go, it's a really nice one.
Yeah, that's one of the better venues and better run Repticons for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And back in the day, Bob used to come from Bob's Balls. He used to come too, but I don't think he does Repticons anymore. They had some not nice things happen to them. So
oh no, fair enough.
Well, yeah. That
happens.
There's stuff and things.
But Bob's a businessman, and Bob's also one of those kind of guys that, you know, if he feels like he's been done wrong by you, then you're just not going to get his business anymore.
Yeah.
So,
which I love what he's doing with the Southeastern Reptile Expo. So
Same.
Yeah. For anybody who hasn't been to that show, that to me that might actually be the new premier show in the country. It is unbelievable. And to be a vendor, there's no show better than that to be a vendor at. The way you are treated as a vendor is unbelievable. It's
because Bob's done it.
Bob knows.
So yeah,
like there are guys there at that show. He has a team of guys. Their whole job is to help you load in and make sure you're getting everything to your table efficiently, and they'll even help you set up if you need it. So, you know, they're right there to unload your vehicle. You can unload. They'll take all your stuff to your table and be waiting on you when you go park your car and come back in. All your stuff's at your table.
Dude,
that's set up.
That's so nice. Oh my gosh.
Bob, Mary, that whole team, they bend over backwards. Not just for the vendors though, but just go attend that show. It's unbelievable. The vendors that are there, I mean, the quality of vendors that are there, it's the top guys in the business.
Ben, you go.
In that show.
Kayla and I are both clicking this.
We're fighting over the comments.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
The other really cool thing that they're doing, many of you watching this may have already seen Leviathan's video that came out in the last couple of days, but we've been talking, several of us, and Stephen and Courtney are kind of spearheading a lot of it. But at the next SERE show in Atlanta in August, I think it's the week before Daytona.
The week before Daytona, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're going to have the first, best in show exhibition. We'll have an area at the show where we'll be giving out, and Stephen talks about the details. And if you haven't seen the video yet, go watch it. He just released it in the last couple of days, but we'll have an exhibition area where you're going to be able to see, some of the best animals at the entire show. And it won't say who produced them, but you'll have the chance. We'll have 3 judges that are, professional breeders. But then we'll also have the opportunity for you as a person at the show, seeing these in person. You'll also be able to judge them, and we'll combine all of the votes from the people at the show, and that will be the 4th judge. Will be the collection of everyone that's there. So you have a part saying who's going to win each of those prizes. So
yeah,
I was going to comment on that, but I didn't. I thought, we're going to have Stephen or Courtney on the show, I didn't want to steal anybody's thunder or anything, but you're right. They did put that video out, and that should be a really fun thing to see. I think they're going to do different categories like best recessive or double recessive, and then non-recessive snakes, and so that should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
It's very, very cool.
Oh.
Yes, Beach Bum, you heard right. This August at the Southeastern Reptile Expo in Atlanta, Bob Vu's show. We'll have a best in show. We're purposely trying to keep it very simple this first time. There's only going to be like 3 or 4 categories. But if you look up Stephen and Courtney's video from the last couple of days, he'll give the details that we've decided on to this point. But obviously with Bob running the show, a lot of these kind of decisions, Bob's got to play a big part of. But Darian from Morph Market's helping out. I think he's even purchasing some of the displays and things that we'll have in the exhibition area. Morph Market's helping to make that happen. And cool. We started talking to a few people about being judges or doing other things to help out. So it's going to be a good concerted effort from many people. I'm very excited to see how it turns out.
Oh yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And some of y'all's favorite RGI sponsored people might or might not have snakes to be judged in that show.
Yeah. And then the thing we'll offer for people that do win, we'll offer to do a scale clip, or if they happen to have a shed with that animal at the show, it probably would need to be a scale clip eventually. But what we would do is we'd offer for free. It's probably going to cost like $150 or something like that to do whole genome sequencing and register an animal like 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. And we can do that consistently. But from even this very first show, we'll offer to take a scale clip, and eventually we'll do that sequencing and register it. So then you would be able to prove if you have an animal that's offspring from that award-winning animal, like we would have genetics, you could prove, yes, this is offspring from that animal, or, it's from the very first Pompeii. This is, third generation from the very first Pompeii, or, those kinds of things we'll be able to do and track. And we're trying to bug Darien into having badges so that, like, if you have an award-winning animal or offspring from that award-winning animal, that'd be a badge that you could have in Morph Market when you're posting it for sale. So there's a lot of potential things. I don't know what all is going to work, but
I mean, how cool is that to have like a literally a champion reptile,
that'd be so cool.
And then thousands of people would have seen it and be like, oh yeah, I saw that at the Sears show in 2025. That was the one, I gave that one a 4, or whatever. It's gonna be fun.
Non-recessive overall crested. Cresties. Love to see our lizards.
It's all geckos, if I remember right. It's just any gecko at the show. It's going to be like best in show, and it's based on their looks. So we're not whoever's judging is not supposed to take into who produced it or what the genetics are. It's just when I look at this animal, out of all of the geckos here, I think that one's the best looking.
Yeah, no genetics are supposed to be listed on them. No labels, no vendor or breeder, nothing listed on them. Just straight on how visually pleasing they are. So but that'd be a lot of fun. That'll be so much fun. So
awesome.
Banna Fields, catch the replay. Dr. Ben went into detail on the mandarins a little while ago.
Yeah, we were talking about why we're so selective on which ones we take, but the really short, and we're way past time, so we probably should line down. With the mandarin test, both us and I know Charlie also is working on it. So I think one or the other, or it might end up being like Monsoon, we'll work together on it, because that's another one, kind of like Lace also, that there might be some difficult things to figure out exactly what's going on. So, but coming soon.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Total blind judging. Yeah, exactly. So just on the snakes themselves.
So exciting.
But
all right, so we are about almost half an hour past.
We're making up for the last 2 weeks where I had to be short because I was traveling, and Troy is willing to help out and make up the time. Thanks, Troy, for being here.
Yes, thank you, Troy.
Always love being here. It's always so much fun. And even not just to be here and not in the chat, I get to ask my questions. So, and hopefully those are questions a lot of people else, would like to know as well.
I think so.
So that's why I try to bring to this anyway, because, I love the hobby, love the snakes, geek out about the genetics, and there's so much I don't know. So it's just phenomenal what you guys do. And I have to agree with what Justin said on Trap Talk last week, that if you're not shed testing, you're going to start falling behind. Like, to be able to give your customers that peace of mind, knowing you are selling them an animal that is absolutely those genes, because you have the proof of it on the genetic test.
Yeah, I think in the coming years, especially if there's a test for something, people are going to they might start expecting that, at least from like breeders with larger selections. Anyway.
Well, another thing I hope it starts to do as well is when you see certain animals that maybe eventually, you can say right there on a Morph Market listing that it was shed tested and proven to be these things, and you see 5 other of what people are claiming are those things, and they don't look like that, then those other things aren't that.
Yep.
So
potentially,
even if it's from a breeder that you might think is one of the big dogs, but they're not, putting in the investment into the shed testing to confirm what they're seeing. I mean, I know Justin spent a ton of money on shed testing.
He even mentioned in that episode, I was kind of surprised, but he said he spent over $200,000, which I can attest. That's a true statement.
Corn snakes, the corn snake world is starting to do that too. We just saw this on our social media recently, using genetic testing to avoid mutations. So like every corn snake is het for AML, but now they can find the ones that aren't.
Right. Or,
And-
even like in ball pythons, when you're trying to avoid pastel.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
We definitely have customers that will test because they're not sure if it's a pastel or a super pastel. And
Mhm.
if it is a super pastel, then they'll sell it because they don't want every baby. They don't mind some of the babies being pastel, but if it's a project they're working toward and they know every single baby is going to be pastel, then
Well, if it's desert ghost, it's not a big deal, but a lot of other stuff, it could be a big deal.
Yeah. It depends on the project for sure.
Absolutely.
All right.
So.
And yeah, for small breeders, maintaining a small collection, which I think genetic testing makes that easier. You're not having to hold back a whole bunch of possets to breed them all out now. Now you can, move those.
So for the record, and since we do have the Charlotte show coming up, if anybody watching this attends the show, feel free to come by the table and you will see it will be right on the displays what animals have been shed tested. There will be a RGI. It'll say tested by Rare Genetics Inc. right on the sticker. So whenever that animal's tested and put up for sale, it has that little sticker right on there, so you can buy with confidence to know you are getting exactly what it says.
Yeah. I think Sean's still giving out stickers. Granted, he's on a cruise right now, but you can, especially if you're ordering a bunch of tests for your hatchlings that you're trying to move. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're vending shows, if you're someone that vends shows and you do testing with us, shoot Sean an email, say, hey, these are the shows I'm vending. Can I get some stickers for my displays? And he'll
hold on. Just to clarify, they're clings, not stickers. So you don't have to worry about them sticking on your displays. They're little clings. So they won't stick on your displays or cause any marks or scratch your displays, by the way. Just wanted to clarify that. And speaking of stickers, we still have tons of RGI stickers to give out at the shows. Sean just restocked me recently since we were sold out. We don't sell them since we were out of them. But so we should be loaded up pretty good. And if you have sheds and you're not sure where to mail them, whatever, just bring them to us at the show. If you're coming to the show, you need shed testing done. If you have everything labeled properly and all that, you can bring them to Balls and Strikes Python's table, and we will get them off to Sean for you.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
All right.
Thanks again, everyone,
Thanks, everybody.
Being here, whether you were here for 5 minutes or the whole time. And yes, once again, thanks, Troy, for talking about the projects you're working with and asking questions, making the conversation more entertaining. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Well, good.
All right.
Always happy to be here with both of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great week, everybody, and we'll be in Alaska here in a few days. So
woo, have fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Later, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, everybody.
And extreme.